南卡当年本身真他们就懂得反对蓝人没发扬的话都不上几级共同的过去都不是像地区的单位去工作3年多年是能有年的300上进超的都去把他们这里300人为度化天下无边无际的有情众生所的无上正等觉圆满佛果，请大家发广大殊胜的菩提心，以及方便广大密诸生动机，并且如理如法的谛听。
Please listen to the teaching by cultivating the 2 aspects of supreme motivation, the vast intention of the Mahayana Bodhicitta, and the profound method of the secret mantra Vajrayana, so as to be able to liberate all sentient beings as limitless as space to the state of the unsurpassed Buddhahood.
我们今天呢继续讲中观根本慧论中观根本慧论呢，我们现在是讲的第一品的部分第一品的部分里面呢，主要就是讲在这个四生自生以及他生、无因生和自他二生就是主要是在破四生的这个阶段。在破四生的里面呢，我们之前就是他这个自生的部分跟自他共生或者无因生的这些部分呢，之前已经讲完了接下来现在呢，我们是正在讲这个他生破这个他生的过程。
Today we will continue on with the explanation towards the root stanzas of the middle way called Supreme Wisdom. So we are currently on the first chapter where we're focusing on refuting the production from 4 extremes, meaning production from self, other, both, and without a cause. We have finished explaining production, refutation of production from self, production from both, and without a cause. We're currently on the section of refutation of production from others.
然后在破这个他生里面呢，我们也上面也讲了就是因缘就是一切法都是由因缘而产生的，然后呢有各自的因缘一个一个的破持而讲了今天在这里呢就是讲这个破缘之能力而来破这个他生的部分。
And within the refutation of production from others, we have covered the explanation on refuting the separateness of cause and result, and into the refutation of production from its conditions. So we have been explaining on refuting the validity of establishing birth from the 6 causes and the 4 conditions. And we are currently on refuting the validity of, 破缘之能力是不是？
对，破缘之能力。
So we're currently on the section where of the refutation of the validity of 4 conditions.
那这一次在这里这一局呢，主要就是针对唯识宗以下的就是内教的就释部行部以破他们的观点为主因为他们认为是什么呢？他们认为是因缘或者四缘也好，因缘也好，他们说是这是应该要成立，这是应该存在的，因为这个因缘和合而生这个因生果，这个是我们限量的可以见得到的。如果我们说是因缘和合不能生果的话，就是直接诽谤了这个佛的这个法，佛所讲的因缘，而且也是邪见所以呢，他们说因缘是存在的，说因缘存在的情况下呢是有他生的就是这是他们的观点。所以呢，接下来呢就是开始破这种观点。
So the purpose of this particular section is in order to refute the theory held by the schools from Yogacara and below, meaning all the lower vehicles, their view towards the birth or the coming of existence was caused by conditions, and so mostly targeting the Buddhists within Buddhists, but various different schools from Yogacara and below, so lower school of thoughts. And so those schools, they believe in the laws of causality, meaning it's observable within our own perception to believe in the laws of causality. So there's a cause, and cause will give rise to a result. So this is the laws of causality. It's observable. So it's you can't refute that. If you disagree with that, then you will be going against Buddha's own teaching. So in order to clarify that, in order to refute the validity of conditions itself, we have the following teachings.
那这里呢，就是中观的开始进行仔细的观察。那如果说你们说是因缘合或者因缘可以产生这个果的话，那这个果是不是在因缘里面呢？去以这样的方式来观察。如果说你们说所谓的你们呈现的这个果，如果是在因缘里面存在，那你们说这个因缘产生果的话，那还可以谈一谈。但是呢，这个存不存在呢？我们这里进行观察。进行观察的时候呢，是略广因缘中求果不可得。那这里说略广的这个意思就是什么呢？就是我们所说的因缘，就是地、水、火、风，然后呢，就是比如说是这个土壤啊，然后这肥料啊等等的，这些都是因缘的。那这里略广的时候，就是这些聚集在一起的时候，或者这些分开的时候，略广是这个，并不是别的如果是这些因缘聚集在一起的时候，它这个果存不存在这个因缘里面然后这样进行一个观察。然后呢，在分开的时候，地水火风全部分开的时候，在每一个因缘当中有没有这个果，进行这样去观察。这样两种的进行观察的时候的话，我们完全得不到这个果存在在这些因缘当中。比如说我们所说的就是肥料，然后呢就是这个水分，然后呢就土壤，这些一个一个里面我们去观察有没有这个道芽的这个道芽存在在这些里面，一个一个的去观察的时候，我们完完全全丝毫的找不到它的因缘这些分别的里面也找不到。然后这些聚集在一起的时候，我们去找也是找不到。所以呢，广略因缘中求果不可得。那我们在这个当中完完全全我们找不到这个果在这个因缘中产生，在这个因缘中找不到，那因缘怎么会能够产生这个果呢？就是这样的。
So now we will begin with the refutation given by the Madhyamaka scholars. So as the verse goes on number 11 of the verse, it says, in conditions, single or together, the effect is not at all existent. Something that is not in its conditions, how from such conditions could it be produced? So this section of verses is to explore whether we can examine or prove the existence of the fruition, the result, in this case, the sprout, to check whether sprout exists in these conditions. So in the commentary given by Khenchen Tsokgyong Lodro Rinpoche, the example given here was the contributing circumstances contributing towards the sprouting from the seed. For example, the elemental causes, right? The earth, fire, humidity, and so on. So the elemental contribution towards its maturing or ripening into sprout. So if you have these factors combined together, then can you find the sprout in this combined condition? Or on the other hand, you can try to find the sprout in the individual separate contributing circumstances, right? So in the fire itself, or in the soil itself, in the humidity itself, the moisture itself, so all the contributing circumstances, if you try to look for the sprout in all of these contributing circumstances individually and see if it's there, you're not going to find it. Therefore, the verses say, in conditions single or together, the effect is not at all existent. So the effect, meaning the result, or in this case, the sprout, cannot be found in the conditions, whether together or separately.
所以上面这两句主要就是讲因缘聚集在一起的时候有没有果，然后在分散个别的时候找不到果，这样一分析的时候完全找不到果了。在找不到果的时候呢，下两句就说因缘中若无，云何从缘生？那我们在把这个因缘就是拆开来，然后去观察的时候，也在这个里面完全那个果的印象都找不到，完全一个任何一丝一毫的果的部分都找不到。然后聚集在一起的时候是一丝一毫都找不到的话，你为什么有什么理由你可以说这个果是从因缘中来产生的呢？就是这个第二句是直接破它，第一句是把理由讲清楚，这两句就是直接破它，你没有任何的理由说这个果是从因缘中产生的，就是这样的。这就是因缘中若无，云何从缘生，这样。
So the second half of this number 11 is to point out, to prove the invalidity of the claim made by these schools stating that a result can be produced from its conditions or contributing circumstances. So, after we observe the fact that we cannot find the sprout in its individual conditions, nor can we find it in the combined or integrated conditions. So that proves the fact that the sprout, or the effect in this case, does not exist in its conditions. So the verses say something that is not in its conditions, how from such conditions could it be produced? So there's no such a thing that a result can be produced from its conditions.
所以在这里堪布举了一个例子，就是说如果是在经堂里面有人，那他从经堂里走出来，你再可以说这个人是从经堂里走出来的。但是在经堂里面完全不存在一个人的话，你怎么可以说这个人是从经堂里走出来呢？是完全不合理的就完全不符合现实，也不合理所以呢，我们刚刚之前观察以后，因缘里面完全找不到任何一个果的成分存在，那你要说是这个果是从因缘中产生的，是完全不符合道理的。所以这个我们这样仔细观察一下的话，我们就很通顺的可以说是从因缘产生这个果是完全可以推翻的。
So Kenshin proceed to give an example. For example, if someone claims that someone walked out of a shrine room, how do you prove that this person has just walked out of a shrine room? So unless you can prove that that person was in the shrine room to begin with, then that statement will be valid. However, if you cannot prove that there's a person in a shrine room, how can you claim that this person has just walked out of a shrine room? So similarly, if you cannot prove the existence of a effect from its condition, then how can you claim that this condition has contributed towards the production of that result.
然后接下来呢，下一个颂词是若为缘无果，而从缘中出，是果何不从非缘中而出？这就是接下来的进行在比较细节的来破斥对方的观点，就说如果是缘里面我们完全找不到这个果的丝毫的一点就是属于果的部分的话，然后还是可以从缘中出生果的话，但是还可以从缘里面产生果的话，那这个果为什么不从非缘中产生呢？就是这样的方式在破对方的观点，这个就是跟上面就非常的通顺了这样。
So going to the, verse number 12, it says, but if effects result from such conditions, even though in them they don't exist, why should effects not also come from what are not conditions from them? So this is to, make their refutation more complete. So offering from a different perspective, if you cannot find any traces of a result from its conditions, but then you still claim to find the result from the condition, so why can you not argue that they were actually produced from non-condition? So there's conditions and also non-conditions. So for a result to take place, to be given rise to, then if not from condition, then why not from non-conditions?
这是一个，然后呢，另外一个破斥就是说，如果是这刚刚上面这个就是第一个破对方的观点，就是按照你的观点的话，非缘中也可以产生果，这是一个。然后呢，就是还有一个下面这个就是说，如果是这样的话，你所说的因缘完全没有办法复合，没有办法就是怎么说就是相比说一定是这个缘就是一定产生这个果，或那个缘就一定产生那个果，你这种逻辑就完全没有办法通了。按照你的观点的话，火焰中也可以产生黑暗，黑暗也可以产生这个火焰等等的，有很多很多的过失按照你的观点的话，有这些过失这样。
So then the refutation continues to elaborate on or develop from this questioning. If the result can be produced from non-conditioned, given that it's a valid, proclamation, then we can also attest that, without any relevance between the cause and the result, anything can give rise to everything. So that means we can just inexhaustibly, argue that, A can give rise to B, even if they're non-relevant between the two. So, for example, fire can give rise to darkness. So does that even make sense? Or, is it even logical?
这样，这样就大家清楚哈，就简单的讲这样可以了。然后下一个颂词是：若果从缘生，是缘无自性，从无自性生，何得从缘生？然后这上面就是刚刚讲了这个中观就是破对方的观点说，那你们这样的话就是缘跟非缘完全没有差别，你们非缘中也可以产生果就是说黑夜白天，那个黑夜可以产生的火焰，火焰可以产生黑夜等等的，就有种种的过失。这样经过一系的就是破斥之后呢， 那对方就是辩白说，哦，这是限量可以见到的。我们所谓的缘起有它自己的一个规律啊，有些因缘呢是它可以有产生那种果的这个能力，有些因缘呢它是没有产生那种果的能力啊，所以呢他说这个有些因缘中它就是有这个能力可以产生它要产生的这个果啊，所以呢他们就是这样的辩白。
So verse number 13. Even if effects possess the nature of conditions, conditions lack their own intrinsic being. How can effect produced from what has no intrinsic being have the nature of conditions? So just now, Madhyamaka scholars have argued or refuted that, with the lower school's claim of conditions producing a result. So by ridiculing them with how about non-condition can also give rise to a result, then what are the difference between conditions and non-conditions, right? So then the lower school continue to argue that we only refer to the observable fact. So, and that's the laws of dependent origination. So there are many examples that are observable to prove prove the validity of these laws of causality. And then they continue to argue that those are observable dependent origination, so it does not include non-conditions. Non-condition does not have any ability to give rise to a result or produce a result, only for conditions. So then, 那个中观的辩词
还没有开始，还没说。上完了哈。哦呀，然后呢，在这里就是对方这样说，他们说啊，这个果，这个缘呢，它就是有产生自果的能力啊，就是这个缘它有产生自果的能力。那这样一来的话，就是中观就说啊，如果是因为果，因为这个缘可以产生自己的果的话，首先我们要成立这个缘存不存在，这个缘有没有这个自性存在啊？但是呢，如果是你这个缘自性存在的话，你可以这样说。但是呢，我们在进行观察的时候，你缘的自性完全不存在，那你一个不存在的东西，可以怎么可以成立或者产生一个存在的东西呢？就没有办法产生这个果的意思啊。那这里说是若果从缘生，是缘无自性，就是说你的这个果。是从缘里面产生，你说是可以缘里面产生的话，你这个缘都不存在，没有自性的话，那你这个果怎么从一个无自性的当中产生一个果呢？没有办法存在。那在这里再进一步的观察的时候，为什么缘不存在呢？人家就会问为什么缘不存在呢？因为缘是产生果以后，它才可以变成缘。如果没有不能产生果的一个东西，它不叫做缘。啊，不叫做缘，所以你这样进行去观察的时候，你缘完全不存在，缘不存在的时候，那你这个果根本不存在。其实在这里面有两个啊，怎么说啊？两过失，两种过失。一个过失是第一个，就是我们刚刚讲的啊，它缘根本不存在，不存在的没有办法产生一个存在的果。这样，第二个是。你缘本身已经不存在，因为你要存在这个缘的话，你首先要成立能够产生果的才叫做缘。你不能产生果的，我们现在连果能不能够产生都不知道，还在进行观察的时候，你就说是缘还没有办法成立，所以这两个过失。
So in order to refute the argument held by the lower schools, where they believe that the condition has the ability to produce its own result, meaning there's some kind of a relevance between the two. So then Madhyamaka scholars refute by stating, if you think that condition can give rise to its relevant fruit or result, then with careful examination, can you find any inherent existence in condition? Meaning, do they exist, with an inherent nature? Because if not, then how does it create a result from itself when it does not exist to begin with, when it doesn't have any inherent nature to begin with? And this also introduced another flaw. If condition itself does not exist, then that means if we look at the result, if we use the result as a reference point, we have to, have a result that has been produced, then we will be able to define the existence of its cause, right, of its condition. So without a result, we don't have any reference point to claim that something can be its condition, right? So Madhyamaka scholars point out these two flaws from their arguments.
在这里，堪波举了一个例子，说如果没有果，就不成立缘。这个就是我刚刚讲到那个第二个果实。如果是果不成立的话，缘没有办法成立，因为要成立缘，必须它是帮助果呈现了，所以它才可以称为是缘。所以呢，就说如果没有果，就不成立缘。在箱子里的箱子或者容器里面的这个稻子或是青稞，它只能说是稻子或是青稞，它不能叫它是种子，因为它没有变成，它没有产生任何的果，所以不能称为那个种子，这是一样的道理。
So Kenjin also highlighted this importance by stating, if there's not a result, how do you even identify its conditions? So an example would be, if you look at the sprout that was collected and placed in a container, can you call them seeds? You cannot, right? Because before it produces sprouts, future sprouts, it cannot be a seed. It can just be the sprout itself.
所以呢，就是我们经过以上的这些观察，其实这些还有很多种观察的方式，那这些很多细节我们就在这里不讲了，因为就是太多，有时候会模糊重点。那基本上我们之上所讲的这些推理的方式就可以足够你可以理解的这样。所以呢，在这最后一个颂词就说：果不从缘生，不从非缘生，以果无有果，缘非亦无缘非缘亦无这个就是中观就是自己的观点，就是说果最后推理出来的抉择出来的结果是什么呢？果是不从缘产生的，那是从哪里出生的？也不从非缘产生的。以果无有故，因为果无有故，缘也不存在，所以呢，就是缘非亦无，就是全部一切都是空性。我们所建立的因缘、因果禅理，这些全部都是在一个这个名言中建立的而已。在真正的圣义的这个中观的观点里面，这些都没有办法成立的，不存在所以就是这样。
So this leads us into the final verse, number 14. And so effects do not possess the nature of conditions or non-conditions. Since effects have no existence, what conditions and what non-conditions could there be for them? So this is where the final conclusion held by Madhyamaka scholars by stating that if the result cannot be produced from conditions, nor can it be produced from non-conditions. So because they neither or none of them has any inherent existence. So this proves the theory held by Madhyamaka scholars that everything is empty in nature. It only makes sense based on our mental construct because of our cognitive ability. We have made such mental constructs to create these laws and believing how reality work in our world, in our mental constructs. So, but in the state of ultimate truth, none of these things exist or have any inherent nature.
所以这以上的话，就我们把第一品就讲完了。那在这里我们总结一下第一品的这个整个这个含义是什么？那总结一下第一品的话呢，其实我们就是讲只有4句，就是诸法无自生，以不从他生，无因或是这个共同而生，就这4句，就是这个4句了。但是呢，接下来这些就是从这个4句里面，再仔细的就是更进一步的去这个解释这4句的意思，就是这样。为什么要这样解释呢？因为我们众生的这个分别念是有很多很多的分别念，有些人会这样想，有些人会那样想，所以就是有很多很多的分别念呢，所以导致了就是在我们这里这个抉择这个空性的时候呢，要把所有每一个众生的可能性的分别念都要破掉，要不然的话就是没有办法真正的抉择到这个空性。所以呢，在每一个步骤，每一个就是分别念可以产生分别念的或者可能性的一个怀疑的部分都破的就是这样。所以呢，这以上就是从每一个角度每一个思维的方式，每一个逻辑的方式，就是来进行的破这个对方的观点，这样。
So this has concluded chapter 1. And just to give a little recap about this chapter, so really the essence or the crucial information or takeaway point is really the first verse, not from itself and not from something else, not from both and not without a cause, does anything, whatever, anywhere, at any time arise. So this first verse really is to point out or to refute what was held by most people or all sentient beings based on their mental construct to be true. And then on top of that, due to sentient beings' conceptualization or their ability to conceptualize things happening in their life and coming up with all sorts of theories, establishing their own belief. Therefore, in order for Madhyamaka scholars to refute, to prove our nature to be the state of emptiness, we really have to cover all ground. Therefore, they proceed to elaborate further on different argument towards different beliefs held by different schools of thoughts. Therefore, there are further discussion on different angles and different ways to refute in order to dispel all doubts.
所以呢，其实这一个 chapter 主要就是在破什么呢？破生就是生无生就是我们任何 所谓的生的话，我们就是说的是产生，不管是外面的气世间也好，内在的情世间也好，都是我们认为这个诞生了，然后呢那个又就是毁灭了，等等的这些，我们在自己的相续当中，我们建立了很多很多的生死，然后呢就是很多很多的因果啊，然后很多很多的这个就是因缘啊、轮回啊等等等等，这些是谁建立的呢？就是我们的分别念建立的。其实在外面的话，真正我们所说的在实际情况下有没有这样的话，根本没有，完全没有一个没有一个东西，不管是外面也好，内在也好，在诞生的也没有一个东西在这个消失或者毁灭或者死亡，完全没有，这些都是我们的心所造的。那所以呢，在这个过程当中，当我们把这个我们累生累世积累下来的这个执着对生死的这个执着的这个念头打破了以后的话，它有什么样的用处呢？这个打破了这个以后，就是我们对自己的执着会减轻了因为我们在这个世间轮回里面，我们所有的痛苦的来源是什么呢？所有痛苦的来源就是执着。执着是什么呢？就是执着我存在，我有生，我有死，我会生病，我会怎么样，我会好，我会坏，等等等等等等，这是我的，那个是我的，等等等等，全部从我存在这个方面产生的所以呢，在我们这个经过这样一系列的这个中观的理论来推翻了对我存在的这个执着，或者对我存在的这个分别念就打破了它。就算是我们没有真正的证悟空性，但是对这个产生一个怀疑，也是功德很大的以前我们在讲了这个中观400论里面所讲的，你就是对这个空性产生一个可能性的怀疑，都可以断除轮回的根所以就是这样的。所以呢，我们在这里主要就是要断出对这些的执着，断出这些的这个实有的这些念头主要就是要断除这些。
中观400论对那个现象的怀疑吧，不是对空性的怀疑。
对于现象，一切象限是空性的这个怀疑。
So what Madhyamaka is trying to establish is the birthlessness by refuting the 4 extremes, 4 type of productions. It's trying to establish birthlessness, because in the level of ultimate truth, nothing is being produced, nothing is abiding, nothing is destroying. It's only in the phenomenal world, the manifested reality, where things are perceived to be produced, and that's how sentient beings' mind streams have been trained to create these mental constructs and create their own belief about life and death, about the phenomena of samsara and the laws of causality. But again, in the ultimate level, nothing is being produced. Nothing is abiding, nothing is being destroyed. So what is the benefit of knowing about this? What is the benefit of refuting all these different kinds of belief? The benefits are that it helped us reduce our attachment to the phenomenal world, beginning by reducing the attachment to ourselves, believing that we were born into this world and then we get attached to how we grow old, how we get ill, and how we die. So everything around us become the object of our attachment. So Madhyamaka is really to help us destroy that mental construct. And in the 400 verses of Madhyamaka, it mentioned, just by having some doubts about this, nature of reality, or having some kind of reflection on the reality to be, empty in their nature, would bring inconceivable results, such as, severing the roots of rebirth back into samsara.
我们可以就是举一个非常简单的例子，这些外在的一切是实有的吗？或是我们的分别念建立的？然后是不是我执才给我们带来很多的痛苦？比如说，我们举一个例子，给人取一个名字，像瑞，他这个名字他的名字现在是瑞。你看我一说瑞，他抬起头来了，他以为这就是我。但是瑞是不是他呢？不是，为什么呢？我们换个名字，给他名字取成 Harrison， 以后我再骂瑞，他也不会生气的。但是我现在骂瑞，他会生气的。就是这个就是什么呢？我们就是把一个没有的东西贴一个标签在那个上面，就以为这个就是我。其实真正上那个不存在嘛，都是我们的分别念建立起来的。所以这种例子我们就很容易理解嘛。跟这个相比的就是其他的全部都是一模一样的，没有任何的差别的，只是在我们的习气相续当中停留的时间比较久或者比较短，就是这样的一个差别。停留的时间越长，我们的那个执着的就越坚固，就以为越是真实的。那停留的时间短的时候就好像偶尔还可以看到好像这个不是真实的就是这样的一个差别。所以我们的一切全部都是就是因为我们太执着了，所以以为这个就是真实的。所以当你一认为这是真实的时候，它就可以左右你的这个情绪，它就可以左右你的这个执着，就是这样的。以前我在这个OTT 讲法的时候，是外国人，我跟他们举一个例子，就是说，像在这边美国，大家比中指，好像就很生气，好像这个很坏的事情。但是在我们藏地，你比中指，大家根本不知道你在做什么，完全不会生气的。这是什么产生的？就是执着嘛。这边就是把中指就是固定，或是贴了一个标签，中指比中指是个很坏的事情哦，好像这个就是对你好像在很辱骂你或者怎么样，对你很不好的一件事情，大家就在中指上贴了一个标签，然后大家去执着这是真实的，然后慢慢这样下来以后，只要有人比中指，大家就很生气。我们为什么要生气呢？就中指跟大指跟食指有什么差别？你真正去观察，没有任何的差别。那但是为什么给你指大拇指你就很高兴，中指你就会很生气呢？这个就是因为我们众生在上面贴了一个标签，这个是好的，这个是不好的，这样的一个念头嘛。这个就是什么产生？就是我们执着嘛。众生就是这样的愚痴，把没有一个东西贴成有，然后呢从这个没有的东西执着成有，然后就给自己带来很多很多的烦恼、痛苦、障碍，然后就是同时遭很多的业力就是这样来的。所以呢，我们所谓的这里无生也是一样的道理，只是我们所看到的，我们生存在这里对这个的执着太永久了，所以这个执着比我们的这个宗旨还要坚固，还要牢固，所以我们就觉得更真实一点而已。其实实际上你真正去观察的时候毫无差别，完全一样的，没有任何的差别的。所以我们对我的存在的执着也是一样的，我在哪里？我根本不存在我真正你去观察的时候，但是你骂我，我会不会生气？会生气。为什么呢？我执着。这个执着从哪来的呢？无始以来无明而造成的。所以呢，我们现在学中观，学这个中观，要破这个执着，破这个身，就是要破什么？就是破这些东西。
So, coming to understand that all the phenomenal world that we see outside of us are simply, or how we approach the reality, are simply based on our mental construct. And this has to do with our self-attachment, and know that this self-attachment leads to our suffering. It's the very cause of suffering. For example, Ray, if I call out Ray's name, he's going to raise his head, right? He knows I'm calling him. But if I change his name to Harrison, and then I start, cussing Ray, he probably will not react to it. But if he's still called Ray and I cuss at him, he'll probably be pretty pissed. So this is an example of attachment, right? You're attached to what you're being called, and that's the name that identifies who you are. So you're associating yourself with that name. So whatever is done to that name, it's done to you, and it's going to cause a reaction. So that's how we associate with our reality, the phenomenal world around us too. So all these habitual tendencies has been existing in our mind stream since beginningless time. So really, it depends on how long it has been in our mind stream. So the longer it is or has been, the stronger the attachment is. So in another word, if this stays in a shorter time span in your mind stream, then it may not be, the attachment may not be as strong. But this is just the state of our existence since beginningless time due to our ignorance from not knowing our nature. We held things to be true. So, or anything associated with us, we give meaning. We have these mental constructs. We have our own sense of reality and believing that to be true. So to give you another example, I used to give teachings at ODD to a bunch of Americans. And that's when I learned that if you flip your middle finger at someone, you enrage the person. And that phenomena really, caused nothing in Tibetan community, because in their mental construct, seeing a middle finger means nothing. It's not gonna, cause any reaction at all. So if you look at that phenomena, it's how, the notion of connecting flipping middle finger with insulting, right? And label it insulting, and then eventually become a cultural phenomena, right? The whole American culture think that's insulting if someone flips their middle finger at you, right? So it's now become a cultural phenomena instead of just one man's ideation. So think about it, it's really astonishing, right? If you look at the nature of things, how would it make any difference between flipping a thumb to someone versus flipping a middle finger at someone and causing, very polarizing reaction, right? Or having such polarizing connotation to different fingers being flipped. So now you understand from the examples that attachment to our phenomena, these are a process that has began since beginningless time, and due to our attachment, we, become so immersed with it and affected by it, and then, holding that to be true. So learning about Madhyamaka is really to destroy this mental construct, the labeling of things, what you believe to be true.
所以我们在这个学习中观的时候，之前我们讲的那些里面有很多的推理的方式啊，有很多这个就是破对方的观点啊等等。如果能够真正的精通看得懂，那当然是最好。那 就算是这些看不懂这些推理，然后呢，就是这个每一个的这个宋词的意思也没有办法懂的话，就至少你知道，哦，原来这个身是不存在的，就是这个就是一个简单的，你就觉得哦，原来真正的身，我们去观察的时候，身是不存在的，这样已经足够了，这样已经足够了。然后在这样的一个基础上，对自己的执着产生一些怀疑，就是对自己的身体也好，任何的地方，或者自己的身体也好，或者自己的财产也好，不要那么非常强烈的去执着，把自己的执着减轻一点点，这也是有很大的意义的。就好像我们这个水，就是那烧火的时候滚的，就是常常在滚的那个水上面，你倒一点点凉水，它那个滚平息了，没有真正的滚这样。我们平时的那个执着强烈到好像就是沸腾的水在滚的一样，上面你用空性的概念把它平息一点点，这也是很大的帮助。这个可以减轻我们很多的烦恼或痛苦的。
So studying Madhyamaka involves knowing about different ways of reasoning and knowing about various viewpoints, what they're trying to refute and what's being argued back. So it takes a lot of reading and understanding to fully understand the backbone of the logic. So it's hard, I get that. So even if you are not fully understanding the material, but simply believing the conclusion that there's no existence in such thing as production, right? Birthlessness, in the ultimate truth, in the level of ultimate truth, then that alone will help you reduce your attachment towards your corporeal body or your wealth or anything that you set for your life. Just like pouring some cold water into a pot of boiling water, you will calm it down, right? So sentient beings suffering is like a pot of boiling water. So just by knowing or accepting the fact that birth does not exist, there's no such thing as birth in the ultimate truth, then that will reduce your affliction and suffering for sure.
尤其是现今的社会，就是本来众生已经就是有很严重的执着，然后呢，这些执着呢对众生产生了很多的痛苦，但是在这个现今的社会，就是陆陆续续的在诞生更多的让众生产生执着的东西，诞生了这些更多的这些执着的东西的时候，带来的是什么呢？就是带来的是更多的痛苦和烦恼。所以呢，在这样的一个时间当中，我们学习中观，然后来平息这些执着是非常重要的。要不然的话，就是我们在这个日夜不间断的过程当中，就在烦恼和执着当中打滚，永远不会有一个脱离的机会。
So especially in the society nowadays, there are way too many new factors that are being created to cause even more suffering to sentient beings, and that's based on our attachment. We all know that, but the world has become so that more and more things are affecting our own well-being, our mental well-being. So people are getting more and more suffered from all these things. Therefore, this also kind of allude to the importance of learning about Madhyamaka and how it can help us reduce our affliction.
因为现在的人越来越自私，然后越来越就是只想自己，不关心别人，这样的时候，这个社会，这个世界就会变成越来越多的痛苦。只要是自私或者我执，这些自私就是来自于我执嘛，我执越重，自私就越强嘛，就是这样的。当这样产生的时候，这个世界的快乐就是只会越来越减少，不会增加的。但是呢，相反的，如果是一个人的我执越轻，自私越少的话，那 带来给这个世界这个社会带来的是只是快乐了，越来越多的快乐，要带来越来越多的快乐，就只能减少执着和自私这样才会带来快乐。
We can all easily tell that people are getting more selfish. So more and more people are observed to be really selfish and disregarding others' benefit, right? They only care about themselves, and that is caused by this self-attachment. So meaning the stronger the self-attachment, the more selfish they are. And the more selfish they are, that means their happiness will be reduced, because the level of happiness, in order to satisfy their happiness, it will become harder for them to achieve that, right? So unless we reduce our self-attachment, meaning that's really the only reason for creating our happiness, so we really should train ourselves to reduce our self-attachment, and in turn that will help us achieve more happiness in life.
这个就是我们要学习中观的最终的目的，就是这个没有别的，只是那些理论只是帮助我们的一个方法这些理论就是帮助我们达到这个目标的方法而已其实真正最重要的就是这个达到就是无我的这个境界达到无我的这个境界，就是我们要从每一个就是观点要去破它，我执产生的每一个观点我们要去破它就用理论去推理，然后来去破它。当这些全部破了以后，然后我们最后才可以达到那个境界。所以这个就是我们最终的目标就是这样的。所以我们在学习中观的时候，我们不能把这个最终的目标或者最重要的重点去常常要想起这个重点。为什么我要学中观？学中观的目的是什么
？So the ultimate purpose for learning Madhyamaka is really to help us achieve that state of emptiness, the selflessness, right? And that involves, again, reading the material and understanding how the refutation went about, the reasoning, how went about refuting all the various viewpoints. Of course, they will help you if you understand them fully, but if not, trusting that emptiness, the nature of all phenomena, alone will help you reduce attachment. And this is something that you should constantly remind yourself about.
那这以上我们就是第一品就是讲完了。然后现在呢就是第二品呢就是来去观来去品。那来去有什么好观的呢？大家会觉得来就是来，去就是去，这有什么好说的呢？其实这里有很多东西要说的，可以让大家学的那个头昏眼花的。所以这个中观的这个根本慧论里面最难的就是来去品。所以呢，接下来我们就开始学这个来去品。
So that takes us into this chapter 2, an examination of motion. So in Chinese, it mentions about coming and going, and you may wonder, what's the matter with coming and going? What is there to talk about coming and going? But in fact, this chapter is considered the most difficult chapter to understand in this entire commentary treatise. So this is a very important chapter.
当然，如果是一个人他真正的已经完全的去了解了这个我们所说的无生的话，那其实这下面这些一切都可以通达的比如说只要真正的理解了无生的话，他也可以就是无生，知道了无生的话就无住就没有住了，也是没有灭就是这些全部都接下来这些没有，这些没有的话来也没有，去也没有，什么都没有了。 但是呢，为什么要这样讲呢？因为有众生的，我刚刚之前讲的一样，就是众生的分别念有很多分别念，所以呢，为了就是破掉这些所有的分别念呢，这里就说专门讲这个来去品这样。
So if you have a good beginning with chapter 1 and understood or realized the birthlessness of reality, then it'll be easier for you to understand the following chapters, because what Madhyamaka is trying to prove is not only the birthlessness, so meaning there's no birth, there's no abiding, there's no destroying. So what we thought to be the cycle of existence, the birth, abiding, and destructions do not really exist, right? So then you may wonder, oh, why do we have to address that, the coming and the going of things? And again, it's because of the, inherent or habitual tendency to hold things to be true. And, because of that, sentient beings have established various mental constructs to believe in certain reality. That's why we have to, look into the detail as to how to refute that.
因为众生我们执着如果是相信因果的一个人，他就觉得我是从前一世来到这一世，然后从这一世会来到就会去到下一世等等的，就说我昨天来到，从昨天到了今天，今天会去到明天，我从这个地方去到另外一个地方，从另外一个地方来到这个地方，等等等等的。我们对这些来去就是非常执着，都是觉得是实有的。甚至是一个河流来比的，我们都会众生就是不观察的时候，就我们河流，我们进一步的进行观察的时候，其实那个河流，昨天的那个河流早就已经流走了，不知道流到哪里去了。但是众生都是执着，这个水是干净的，你怎么可以说是这个水是干净的呢？因为它是昨天是干净的，所以以为今天也是干净的。其实昨天你所说的干净那个水早就流走了，今天这个是不一样的水了。我们没有进行观察的时候，就好像就是昨天的这个河水是干净的，今天也是干净的，或者昨天这个水是脏的，所以今天这个也是有污染的就这样去执着。当我们进一步的去观察的时候，昨天跟今天的水完全是不一样的。昨天的那个水是干净的水也好，脏的水也好，早就流走了。今天这个是完完全全也是不一样的水，所以这些来去，我们就对这些就很执着所以呢，这里就要破这个来去的这个执着。所以讲这个来去品，讲这个来去品的时候呢，就首先是广说理证。第一分两个，就是广说理证，然后呢就是以理摄义。然后第一个分成三个，广说理义分三个，就是遮破所立二是遮破
如果这里没有
有你再往下走一点点就
OK。
然后就遮破能力，三是以观察知理遮破然后呢就是那里面的第一个遮破所立又分二，观察作业而破，然后观察作者而破。然后第一就是观察作业而破。
So just like most of us, we believe in the laws of causality. There's cause and result, right? So we all believe that we have a past life, and now we're in this current life, and we will be we're reincarnating into the next life. And then we hold the phenomena to be true, that there was a yesterday, and we're in today, and then there's going to be tomorrow's phenomena. And then also, I came from somewhere, I'm currently here, and I will be going somewhere else later on, right? So we have all these notions of, coming and going, like there's a motion that's, continuously moving. And also like, seeing a river, right? You see a stream or a river flowing ceaselessly, right? You saw it yesterday, you saw it today, and then you call, because yesterday you saw this river and then you call it clean. You describe this river to be clean. And today you saw the river again and if you continue to claim that it's clean, then it will be wrong, because yesterday's water is not at all the same as today's water, but you just think that it's the same river that's continuously flowing. So really not looking or thinking carefully into the nature of things, right? So now looking at the structure of the chapter, it's on Tianjin's commentary. So I will create the English version for English readers later on. But there's a kind of like the content of the book, but it's really the structure of analysis. So the steps it takes to provide the reasoning, right? So I will give that to the English readers later on. But this chapter is divided into the structure, beginning with 2 sections. First is a general introduction to the reasoning, right? The steps towards proving. And the second section is to explain what it entails, what the reasoning really entails. And within the first section, which is the general introductions of the step towards reasoning, it has 3 subsections. The first is to refute their proposition. The second subsection is to refute the validity of their claim. The third is to refute the reasoning based on their observation. So within the first subsection, which is to refute their proposition, it has 2 subsections in that. The first is to refute by observing the action, and the second subsection is to refute by observing the actor. And finally, so within this last subsection, observing a refutation by observing the actor. No, actually, we begin with that one. Okay, there's no more subdivision. We begin with the subsection called refutation by observing the action.
然后在这里说，已去无有去，未去亦无去，离已去未去，去时亦无去。这很多去哦。哎呀，所以呢，在这里我们理解这个去就直接就是一般的来去哈，我们不用想得很深，是什么很深奥的去啊？不是，就是一般的我们说来去的这种去，再没有什么别的，就是这个去哈。在这里就是观察有没有这个来，或是有没有这个去，这里主要就是在去的方面，只要我们把去破掉，那来也没有了所以这里重点就是在破这个去。在破这个去的时候呢，说已去是什么呢？已去就是已经去过的地方，已经去过的有没有这个去啊？没有去，因为已经去过的就没有去了，因为它已经毁灭了。我们就说是昨天，或是就是前1个小时，或是前1秒钟，或者前1分钟，现在存不存在？不存在啊，已经过去的东西已经毁灭了，过去的东西是不可能存在的。所以这里说已去无有去，就是这个意思。已经去的东西无有去，然后这里，然后就是未去亦无去，未去就是让我们还没有去的地方有没有这个去呢？没有。我们说今天来说，明天存不存在？不存在，明天是个未来。现在这一刹那，或是这1个小时里面，下1个小时存不存在？下个小时不存在在现在这个小时里面，因为下个小时是未来的，未来的东西跟过去的东西都是不存在的，都是空性，都是不存在的。所以呢，就是未去亦无去。然后这时候离已去未去，离开了已经去的， 或者没有去的这两个的话，去时亦无去，就是去就不存在了，你就再找不到一个去的这个行为了，你就找不到一个去的行为了，或者已去或者未去之间你找不到一个去的行为啊，大致上就是这样。
So the first verse goes, there is no motion in the having gone, and in the not yet gone, there is no motion. Apart from has gone and has not yet gone, the act of going is not known. So this first verse is to try to refute the validity of this phenomena called going somewhere, right? If we can refute the validity of going, the phenomena of going, then we can naturally refute the phenomena of coming as well. So beginning with refuting the phenomena of going, right? So what's considered having gone? So that's happened in the past, right? So the phenomena of having gone somewhere does not exist anymore. And the notion of not yet gone exists in the future. And for something in the future that has not yet happened, it too does not exist, right? So then how about in between? So in between having gone and not yet gone is the act of going. Are you able to find the existence of the act of going? You won't be able to find it. So that's what it's trying to refute in the next few verses.
在这里我们真正来说，就是如果过去已去，就是把它说成过去，然后未去就是未来的去，现在用这样来说的话，就是可以用时间段来说过去、现在、未来这样。但是呢，真正的在这里我们所说的已去、未去这个部分的话那在这个就是佛护菩萨以及月称论师，就是把这个是放在道路上，你已走过的道路或是没有走过的道路已经走过的道路是已去，然后没有走过的道路就是未去就以这个来分的。在这里堪布特别有提到，所以有中文的法本的可以这里看，但是没有中文的英文的这个读者就没有这个兴趣，所以这里特别要提到一下。
So here, if you refer to Kenshin's commentary, it highlighted the fact that the notion of having gone or not yet gone, or maybe even the act of going, these three concepts or these three notions are actually referring to the path of going instead of the timing of the action. So we're not talking about having gone, meaning like referring to the timing of when it happened, but rather referring to the path or the journey. And this was actually proposed by Buddha Palita in his commentary, suggesting that we should take the notion of the path instead of time when we look at or explain this verse.
所以呢，在这里所说的已去，就是无有去，这个我们仔细的进行观察的时候，我们就要回到就是在这个道路上已经去过的道路是现在有去吗？没有，已经去过了。去过的任何一个事情，过去它就是下一秒它就是毁灭性的，它就是不存在的。如果是你说下一个已去的还去的话， 这里下面看播这里讲，就是有我们上次在破自身的时候，如果自己生自己的话就有无穷尽或是无有少许功德的这个故事，就这个上面是一样的。已去的你还会去，已去的还有去的话，就是没有任何的功德或是无穷尽的去的这个故事这个。
So Kenshin's commentary continue to point out the highlight on the path, the notion of the path that one has already gone on. So that path, once walked or treaded, will become destroyed. The notion of that existence of that path will be destroyed in the next instant. So it does not exist a path that's considered someone is going on that path, right? So, and Kenshin also, Rinpoche also referred to the first chapter where Kenshin pointed out the flaws of self-birth in order to ridicule people saying that path still exists in this instant, because that will be similar to self-birth or the flaws of self-birth, meaning that for something that can give self-produce, it will be the flaws of inexhaustibility. So that does not make sense. So if one can give rise to itself or produce itself, that does not make sense. It's not commonly agreed upon laws of anything. So that does not make sense. And similar to that, the path, the notion of the path that has already took place does not exist in this instant.
所以呢，这里就说已去，无有去，未去亦无去，就是这一个宋词就是这样，意思就是大致上就是这样的。还有接下来就是会比较细节的来破斥这个来去的部分。今天呢我们就讲到这里了。接下来那些细节的部分的话，我们在下一堂课继续的进行就是来讲解。今天我们就讲到这里。
So that explains the notion of having gone and the not yet gone. So in terms of the path. And the second half of the verse, apart from has gone and has not yet gone, the act of going is not known. This will require further instructions, so we will leave that to next time. Today's teaching has just concluded.
接下来呢，大家有